Gotham Oakland, what's up, y'all? We got a good show today. We're going to be interviewing our candidates for Oakland City Council, Oakland City Attorney, and School Board all week long. And I want you to listen to these interviews because they're not like any other interviews you've been hearing in other places, unfortunately. Here on Gotham Oakland, we're not here for the pandering. We're not here for the hot air and word salad. We want to hear from our potential elected officials exactly what they plan to do in office, and do they have the knowledge, skills, and ability to perform the core duties of the job? And do they even know what the job is that they're applying for? Today, we're going to be interviewing retired Alameda County Superior Court Judge Brenda Harbin Forte. Harbin Forte not only leads the recall of the Mayor Chantal of Oakland, she also has had an extremely distinguished legal career. And I want to start, before she gets on the show, just give a quick primer as exactly who is retired Judge Brenda Harbin Forte. What has she done, and why is she running for city council, which she's going to answer the second part. But I'm going to give her some of her bona fides before she gets here so you can get a sense of exactly who you're dealing with. So the Honorable Brenda F. Harbin Forte, retired. She has a pretty long history in law, starting in, the 1970s. And it looked like she began at Moore and Bell in 1978. She's been a partner at a law firm. She's been a county judge. Just take that in for a second. You can pause and get a look at her extensive resume. Here's another page. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to leave them there for you to sort of take a look at. Let me hide this right here so you can read it. And while we're waiting for Brenda to join the show, 4-page CV. Wow. Very, very impressive. Judge Brenda has also, while we're waiting for her to join, won a bunch of distinguished awards. Most notable being a statewide award for creating more opportunities for Black women in the California bar, including our presidential hopeful Kamala Harris. Let me present that article while we're waiting for Judge Brenda. Okay, we have here, she's awarded with the Spirit of Excellence Award in 2014. And this award was created for urging greater transparency and reporting diversity on the bench and increasing judicial appointments of diverse attorneys. Judge Harbin Forte's work is well known across the United States, with many states replicating portions of the procedures she's put in place. For her service, leadership, and dedication to diversity, Judge Brenda is well deserving of this distinguished national recognition. Great, great stuff. So she should be joining us shortly, and we're going to bring her on the interview stage in just a few short moments, and we can hear from the City Council hopeful herself, retired Alameda County Superior Court Judge Brenda Harbin Forte. All right, we have here retired Judge Brenda Harbin Forte, who is a candidate for Oakland City Council. I'm very excited for this interview. I just gave you some background, so I'm going to jump right into the first question because no one has time to waste. And Judge Brenda, I will give you an opportunity to give a stump speech at the end. You'll have 2 minutes. So I have a clock right here. I'm going to put it up for you.
Okay.
All right. Now we know we have a lot of time here, unlike these candidate forums when you got 1 minute to tell us, a complex theory about why you think life is here. You got 1 minute to tell us the existence of God or something like that. We're not doing that. We're going to give you a proper platform to talk to voters, to understand exactly what's going on here. And okay, so I'm going to I have a 7 minute timer here.
Okay.
and I'll give you an update. I don't know if this timer thing's going to work. You know what? I'm just going to give you a 1 minute. When it gets down to 5 minutes left,
Okay.
3 minutes, and 2 minutes, I will give you
Okay.
a warning. So your
Okay.
first question. Now I put retired here, but you're going to come out of retirement if you win. And you will be a retired judge, or will you be? You're always going to be a retired judge, right? You're never going to be going back to the bar to practice. Okay, but hopefully, this is my own personal preference. You will be our city attorney. But I have invited Ryan Richardson on the program to give his pitch, and you never know. I doubt he will attend, but if he does, we will give him a proper platform to tell people why he believes he should be the best city attorney. Okay, question number one. In your own words, describe the role of city attorney. What do you think is currently lacking in the city? And how do you plan to use this power to reform the government? You have 7 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Seneca. And thank you so much for having me on this show. The role of the city attorney is to generally to advise the city council, to advise the office of the mayor, and each and every department of the city. So that essentially generally the role of the city attorney. With respect to doing that, one of the things the city attorney has to do is to review proposed legislation from the city council and others to ensure that the legislation is legal and to ensure that it complies with all laws. With respect to that, what I have seen missing from or what is lacking in the current city attorney is a significant attention to following the law and to making sure that when they sign off on a ballot initiative or anything else, that they are in fact ensuring that that ballot initiative, that the contract, that whatever is entirely proper. We have seen instances where there have been issues with some of the signing off of various initiatives. For example, most recently was with respect to Measure NN, where the city attorney's office signed off on the proposed ballot language that was entirely incorrect. And it was the kind of mistake that no
Was it,
one of this
my apologies for interrupting. I'll pause the timer. Did you say measure NN?
NN.
Yes, copy.
Yes, thank you. Yes, on Measure NN, they signed off basically on ballot language that was entirely incorrect regarding what was needed for passage, whether it was simple majority or whether it was 2/3 vote. Now, a few years ago, the city attorney's office spent thousands and thousands of dollars fighting over Measure AA as to what percentage was needed for passage. That litigation cost the city a lot of money and time, and it appears that still there are going to be problems with implementing Measure AA. So when it came down to Measure NN, you would have thought that the city attorney's office would know whether something needs a simple majority or whether something needs and I can't see that, I'm sorry. Whether
5 minute
something
warning.
Okay, then. All right. Whether something needs a simple majority or 2/3 vote. So what happened was, because the city attorney's office had not provided correct legal advice, including to the citizens, when petitions were being signed to put the measure on the ballot, then the city clerk had to sue the registrar of voters as well as the city attorney's office to get that corrected. The city clerk's office had to have separate counsel, outside counsel, even though the city attorney's office is supposed to be advising the city clerk. So that was just an embarrassment. It should have been to the city attorney's office for not knowing, even at this point, whether something requires 2/3 majority or a simple majority. So it's those kinds of things that end up costing the city a lot of money. And we are already in a fiscal crisis in the city. How do I plan to use the power to reform city government? One of the things that I plan to do is to ensure that the legal advice that's given to the mayor, to city council, to the agency heads, to others is accurate legal advice. To take the time to do that, and to have the courage to say, we can't do this, the city can't do that, and to make sure that we're not spending unnecessary legal fees. I think, that basically is it.
You have 2 minutes left if you would like to use it.
Okay.
You can
The other
finish
thing,
early. If it's up to you, you don't have to use all the time. It gives you more time at the end to share
okay,
with the voters what you want to do.
okay, all right. And what I also intend to do is to make sure that we are considering the interests and the concerns of citizens. I plan to have an open door policy. Often we just set policy without considering its impact on Oakland residents. So I hope to have and will have an open door policy where I listen to the voters, I listen to the residents about their concerns. And while, yes, we are to advise the city clerk and everything else, and city council and mayor, there are actual people out there, residents, voters, whose concerns and issues we have to consider as well. They're entitled to accurate information in the voter pamphlets. I will make sure that occurs.
Okay, next question. You are in a head-to-head race, no ranked choice voting for you. So, voters have a very simple choice, either you or Ryan Richardson. Ryan Richardson has been a protege of current city attorney Barbara Parker, and he is running, although he is not the incumbent. He has done a significant amount of work in Mrs. Parker's role because she has been ill for some time. So, in essence, you are going against an incumbent. What separates you from the current acting city attorney, and how do you plan to tell voters why you would do a better job at this position?
What separates me is that I come in with a fresh perspective. What has been happening in the city attorney's office was recognized by Empower Oakland when they endorsed me over Ryan Richardson. And they found value in me coming in as an outsider. And they said that I'm a city hall outsider with a fresh perspective, and that's what we need in the city attorney's office. And Empower Oakland said the current city attorney's office has been a party to decisions and actions that have enabled the city's fiscal crisis and weakened our public safety response. And Harbin Forte would bring the transformative leadership and reform that is desperately needed within the city attorney's office. So what you'll get with me is indeed a fresh perspective. It won't be business as usual. It will be setting an expectation that everyone is expected to comply with the law, all of the laws, state law, city charter, everything, and to do things properly and correctly. Sometimes we're so concerned about trying to curry favor with elected officials that the city attorney's office doesn't give them the bad news that sometimes needs to be given in order to make sure that Oakland is protected, and also make sure that Oakland residents are being protected as well. So you'll get that with me. You will also get 45 years of legal experience, 45 years, including almost 28 years as a judge. You will get the experience of having handled every kind of case that the city attorney's office handles. And so I also will bring experience in terms of monitoring cases, overseeing cases, both as an attorney, both as a partner in a large law firm, and on the bench. My caseload was over 500 civil cases that I managed for what we call from cradle to grave, summary judgment motions, all kinds of issues, land use issues, all kinds of issues, municipal law issues that the city attorney's office handle. You will get that from me that you cannot get from my opponent. You will get actual trial experience from me.
5-minute warning.
Okay, you'll get actual trial experience from me. I don't know how many trials my opponent has done. I know that he hasn't done any real significant complex litigation. I have both before I joined the bench and certainly while I've been on the bench. I've handled those kinds of things. You're going to need that as you look at outside counsel. And I will reduce the number of cases that are going outside of the office. We are paying twice, basically, for legal advice. We're paying the city attorneys already, and then we are paying millions sometimes of dollars in outside legal fees. We shouldn't do that.
Millions. When have we spent millions in outside legal fees?
Well, there's one litigation, one case that's going on now with respect to the coal litigation that I understand has cost the city millions of dollars. We, with respect to, although this case is being handled in-house by a city attorney, a specially appointed city attorney, with respect to the oversight of the of Oakland Police Department, we are paying a monitor more than $1 million a year. Oakland Police Department has been under federal oversight for more than 20 years. And we cannot afford to keep spending that much money on a federal monitor. I plan to get us out from under federal monitoring. The federal judge is wonderful and everything, but it appears that the city attorney's office has not been aggressive enough in pushing back on this continued oversight. And one can say that under the negotiated settlement agreement, there's been 20 years to try to make the city Oakland Police Department a perfect police department. It is not going to happen, but the oversight can be done not by an outsider, but we have agencies already. We have the Police Commission. We have the Office of the Inspector General. We have the Community Police Review Agency. Those agencies that voters have already said should monitor and oversee the Oakland Police Department should be the ones to monitor and oversee the Oakland Police Department. But we are paying not just the monitor, we are also paying one of the plaintiff's attorneys more than $100,000 a year the longer this goes on.
Who is this attorney's name?
This is attorney James Channon.
Okay, you said that. My apologies.
Oh,
and he's getting paid over $100,000. Didn't he weigh in on some other decisions that would determine whether he would keep getting paid or not?
Yes, and essentially, and in essence, he weighs in on all of those things. So there is that inherent conflict of interest where you have somebody who can continue to make money, so they have an interest in continuing this oversight. John Burris, the other plaintiff's attorney, does not take pay for being involved in this oversight, which is laudable on his part. So he doesn't have a conflict of interest. He would like to see oversight in, but of course he wants the police department to be a constitutional police department and follow all the laws. But jurisdictions in other states who have been under monitoring and oversight for long periods of time have ended up suing in order to get out from under federal oversight. I want to look at that. We cannot afford to continue paying this federal monitor more than $1 million a year and this attorney more than $100,000 a year after year after year.
So I don't think it's much of a secret for people who've been paying attention, but for those of you who haven't, you were removed from our current mayor from the police commission because you did not like the steps that you were taking to get rid of the federal monitor. At least that's my interpretation of it. And then shortly thereafter, she fired Chief Armstrong, which was then proven to be for no cause. And she had to admit as much that she had no cause, but she just did not trust him. Yes. I don't want to make this about our current mayor, but since we are recalling her and you are the leader of that recall, I'm going to add one more question.
Okay.
And I didn't send this to you ahead of time.
Yes, and I'll clarify some things on the chronology of the mayor's non-reappointment.
Please do. But my question is this. Now, this is a hypothetical that should not happen, but you never know what can happen. So let me give you a scenario that's a difficult one, and I want to know how you're going to navigate it. Okay. You win, city attorney. Woohoo! Yay!
Yay!
But the recall against Mayor Tile fails,
Hmm.
and she's still in office.
Hmm.
How do you deal with a mayor who you attempted to recall? I don't think we're going to fail because I'm part of the recall too, but just for people who are listening can understand your objectivity, because you never know what can happen. In this scenario, you're the city attorney, she's the mayor, or if you were city attorney right now, recall notwithstanding, against a person who you have a public beef with, how do you put that aside, and how would you navigate this situation to make sure that Oakland gets the best representation possible?
Of course, I put it aside. And I don't really have a public beef in the sense that people somehow mistakenly believe that I was so upset because the mayor did not reappoint me to the police commission that I started a recall. I mean, that concept, that idea is so ridiculous. My term on the police commission ended in October 2022. My term was over. I was willing to be reappointed. And in fact, Libby Schaff did decide to reappoint me. But by the time we got to the end of the year and the new mayor had been elected, the new mayor said, I want to be able to appoint my own people to the police commission. So that was fine. It took her about 6 months or so, but she decided that she did not want me to continue to serve. And that was fine. I've been in politics all of my days, so to speak, for a very long time. And when a new administration comes in, you want new people. I have no problem with that. My only problem with the mayor was the way she went about firing the police chief, the way she took her time in terms of replacing the new police chief. She delayed action on in terms of getting a new police chief. We had to beg her. The police commission had to continue to hound her to have a meeting to set up things in place so that the replacement process could continue. When I left the commission in June or so of 2023, they still had not formally hired the new the outside investigator, the vetting team. They had not hired that. And then later on, she when the police commission gave her the names of 3 people to appoint before the end of the year, she rejected all of them, which
All of
caused
them, I
further
remember.
delay. And so what you have is a mayor who really, quite frankly, she's been in over her head all along. But as city attorney, my job is to advise her, and I will advise her. I will make sure that she and other agency heads, other public employees, comply with the law. So I will. I'm happy if she survives and she's the mayor and I'm the city attorney. You better believe that I am going to remove any kind of conflict that she may perceive, and I'm going to do my job. That's the way I've always done things. I am an ethical person. I've taken an oath to uphold the law, and I will take that same oath when I become city attorney, and I will govern. I will do my job based on my responsibilities. But she won't get any kind of retaliatory treatment or anything from me as city attorney.
Well, thank you for that. And I will remind you, you already swore in. You swore in when you put your final paperwork. So you've
Yes.
already taken that oath. And I'm
Mhm.
confident that if you shall win, that you would do exactly what you said that you would do. So you have 2 final minutes. If
Okay.
you have anything else that you would like to say to voters, um,
Yes.
go
Yes.
for it. And thank you very much for coming on the program. You are our first interview of the week. We have 12 candidates scheduled. I'm
Wow.
so excited to be able to talk to our hopefuls and really ask some questions that are policy driven to give our listeners a better idea of who they should vote for. So, 2 minutes left. Tell Oakland voters why they need to vote for you for Oakland City Attorney.
They should vote for me because Oakland needs a new direction, and Harbin Forte can show us the way. We have a choice. It's almost similar to the national debate over who should become president. We can choose to stay with or go with somebody who's already hurt the city of Oakland by the conduct and actions and decisions that the city attorney's office has made, where we can turn the page, bring in a fresh perspective, bring in someone who brings the ethics and the courage to do the right thing. And with respect to that, the oath that we take is an oath that I first took in 1992 when I became an Oakland Municipal Court judge. And it is an oath that I abide by. It was an oath that I've taken every time I've gotten reelected as a judge. I take it seriously, and I take seriously our responsibility as public elected officials to serve the people of Oakland. I want to serve. I don't have to serve. I don't have to continue working. I'm retired. I have a nice retirement. So I don't have to, because I don't have to serve. But I have never seen Oakland this bad. I've been here over 50 years. I have never seen Oakland this bad. So we need a new direction. We need to turn the page. Voters will get a new direction from me, and they will get a new direction with respect to relying upon those veterans in the office. There are people who've been in the office longer than my opponent, who know how the office works, who knows how the office should work, and who have some wonderful and creative ideas about improving the office. My opponent says that he took a poll of his subordinates first off, before I even got into the race, and 98% of them told him that he should run. Well, again, it was before I got into the race. These are subordinates, and just like the emperor was not told that he didn't have on any clothes, what are you going to expect from subordinates whose fate you control as a second in command in the office? So he touts that, but it doesn't mean anything. We should also understand that the endorsements that he's gotten are endorsements from people who've been part of the problem. The current mayor endorses him. She's under federal criminal investigation. The former mayor, the immediate past mayor, Libby Schaaf, many people saw that ethics report that came out, and all of the misconduct and perhaps even criminality that was going on under the watch of this city attorney's office, and the kinds of things that were going on. I am not going to put up with that, because it's harmful to all of us who are taxpayers. I've been paying property taxes in Oakland for 30 something years or so. And my tax money is going into the budget, going to try to fund all of these kinds of things that are going on. And I want us to have an efficient city attorney's office. I want us to have a courageous city attorney's office. I want us to keep more cases in-house. I want to develop expertise. And I know how to handle litigation. I know how to do it. And so I will be able to monitor more of the outside counsel and make decisions about what direction we should go. We also need to know when to just call it quits. And I am good at realizing that, okay, we're beating a dead horse. We need to take a different direction. So
I'm going to have to cut you there. It's been a little over 2 minutes. And you gave me one more question. And I want to send questions ahead of time to give people a chance to know gotcha question. But I'm going to put you on the spot here for our last question. Okay. I should have wrote it down, but I forgot it. Okay. Oakland City Charter requires the city attorney to be at every city council meeting. As a matter of fact, our city charter says if the city attorney misses 3 consecutive meetings, the city council can vote to remove the city attorney from office. First question, are you aware of this? Second, our current city attorney, Barbara Parker, has missed much more than 3. And by my count, she's missed several years of meetings consecutively. And there's been no actions taken. Now, the question is, do you plan on attending and honoring the charter and being a regular participating city attorney and attending these city council meetings in order to do the job as described by charter? And will you make that commitment before voters today to be an active city attorney and do the job as described by charter and show up to these city council meetings so you can be there when these discussions are happening real time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to follow the law. From being a judge for all of those years, I'm a stickler for following the law. If there are obligations, if there are legal requirements, yes, you have to do that. And there's no excuse for any city employee, any public employee not following the law. But I think that kind of goes back to this kind of lax attitude about sometimes it appears that the city attorney's office thinks that complying with the law is optional. And I think that's a very significant and scary problem. So yes, if you're required to be there, you need to be there. It's the same attitude in terms of public employees coming to work. My opponent says that we shouldn't expect them to come to work every day because in the city attorney's office, there are no coffee pots or something on every floor. And it's inconvenient to go to another floor to get a cup of coffee.
What about our local businesses who sell coffee who are closing around City Hall?
Yes.
You know what? We'll be here all day if we get into that discussion.
But bottom line is the city, the residents, the voters should be very reassured that you're going to get somebody who's going to comply with the law. We're going to know what the requirements are, and you better believe that there will be strict adherence to the law. That's what we deserve. That's what Oakland voters deserve.
I'm looking forward to it, God willing, if you're elected. We are extending the invitation for Brian Richardson to appear on the program. Hopefully he comes on so voters can make an educated choice. Yes. But if not, hopefully everyone who hears this will do as I'm doing and vote for Judge Brenda for city attorney. There are 50 days until the election. You never know what can happen. Maybe Ryan Richardson will be anointed by Christ and all of a sudden grow some legal acumen that he didn't show in the last 4 years. You never know, and my mind may change. I doubt it. But I would like for people out there to understand that we are objective on the show. We make our decisions based on information, based on objectivity. I've tried to say that twice already, so I'll throw objective in there one more time. And we need to think with our hearts and our heads. Yes. Oakland is a beautiful city because of our progressive values, but balance is the key. And sometimes we need to restore order. And I could think of no better place for that starts than the city attorney's job, which, as I understand it, many people may not. There is a significant amount of power in the city attorney, and it's meant to serve as checks and balances for the mayor and city council to make sure that the city is protected from lawsuits and from anything that will cost us a lot of money. As you've described, we are in a lot of those situations today, and I hope you can help us navigate our way out of it should you be elected in a few short weeks. So thank you very much, Judge Brenda, for coming on the show. Good luck on the campaign trail. And I'll see you in these Oakland streets. Wear out them shoe leather. It's all about the shoe leather. Knocking on them doors. We put it in that work. Let people know who you are.
Very much. Thank you very, very much. I am excited. I'm excited about bringing a breath of fresh air to Oakland. Thank you.
Then have a good day and good luck out there.
Thank you.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.